going on, you guys? Welcome back to Sense of Diva podcast with your girl Ash. Hi, hello. I know. Don't be mad. Let's just get into it. Where was I? As much as I wish this was like my source of income, my main job, obviously it's not. So I work in corporate America, and requesting more money, they'd be like, all right, here's more projects, here's to be seen. I don't talk too much about my work life because why? You're not gonna get no ammo from me, no hints from me if I say something you may not like out here. But no, they just sent me across the country and doing work for my role in my department. Super cool. But babes, when you're traveling for work, no one tells you what to expect when traveling for work. Okay, what I mean by that is you're gonna be tired. You're going to be tired. And babes, I was so freaking tired. Like, I would have to get there a day in advance to do, actually a day that I don't freaking know, but I had to get there early and I have to get everything done for the event, for what we were actually doing and going from one place to another. So I did that while also having an overseas trip. I know a lot of people are like, wait, what? Had that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to come back and be able to do my show. Boom. Right into another trip that I had to drive to and then come back and then just jump into more things and more things. I'm like, all right, I need to get my bearings together in my place, in my house, because that was also a mess. And I'm like, okay, I can't function, but also I need to get aligned with work again. And sadly, my baby, my Bookie, my podcast, y'all, got put to the side, but it ain't gonna be put aside during the summertime. I refuse. There's so many things to talk about. This is a time to actually have and use my voice. So this isn't going nowhere. So I said I went to an overseas trip. I went back to Japan. I know, huh, girl? What? I don't got no money. Don't ask me for it. But I went back to Japan. Stayed the same hotel. Roppongi Hills will always be my favorite. But I noticed like a lot of the places that were there, a lot of luxury places, small fashion type places were gone. Okay, I'm like, that's weird. This trip, we ended up staying in Shibuya. Like, if you want to know where we stayed in Shibuya, where it was 10 out of 10, big hotel, big space. I'm not gonna say big because when people say they had a big hotel in Japan, it tells me you went to a 5-star or 4-star, and 3 stars like top tier. You went to probably an American type chain. I don't even say American, but you went to a very big chain, like the Ritz. The Ritz has really big hotels, but they're really expensive. Most hotels are going to be like 115, 118. The biggest you'll see is probably like 120, but then you're also paying a lot of money too. We split it in half like most people do for like 2 weeks. We only stayed for 7 days and split the hotels in half because it was cheaper. And I was like, all right, I want to see. Honestly, it wasn't cheaper to be honest, but we went to be in Shibuya and I enjoyed it. To be able to go and walk to Shibuya, literally we're what 2-3 minutes away from Shibuya crosswalk, then walk back. It was so fun, but let's talk about something that happened while I was there. Your girl got too lit in Shibuya. Like, I can hold my liquor. It's rare. It's rare. Actually, you know what? I've been talking about this. I talked about this all week. Talking about I never been blacked out drunk. I was in Shibuya. There it is. That's the first time I've ever been blacked out drunk. But it was blacked out and coming to. Like, so basically, let's just talk about it. Those who've seen my close friend stories, you already seen me. You saw what happened. So basically, we went to an all-you-can drink 24/7 karaoke place. All you can drink in regular sodas and liquor, whatever it is. And it was 11 o'clock because we could not get to the hotel, but we dropped off our luggages, checked in, and we are going to be there back for 3 p.m. So we're going there, and I'm like, I'm excited. I'm like, yay, it's going to be fun. We've been here before. I've drank before here, but not putting two and two together. Like, you don't have nothing on your stomach. You haven't eaten anything. And this trip, I could not, TMI, use the restroom. I thought the little constipation thing in Tokyo was like just a TikTok kept showing up, but no, it actually was true. But I was fine. I was fine until I wasn't. I took a few videos up until I didn't, and I saw me sweating. I was sweating, glistening. That's when it all went downhill. I remember leaving the booth because we were done, and we were drinking this whiskey called Black Nikka, Nika, okay? Not nigga, but Nika, okay? And had me lit. Tastes like water. Didn't even put two and two together. Only had 3. Barely got to the 4. Had a mixed drink of a lemon sour, whatever. So I had some soda, so it wasn't just straight liquor. And we're sitting in the checkout area, and that's all I remember is just putting my head down and be like, oh my God, I gotta tell everybody about this place. I did a recording. I could barely keep my head up. And then from there, I just knew we were in Burger King. And I got food. And the person I came with was like, hey, eat this. I took a piece of that fry. I just remember putting my head over the cup I got and just dry heaving. Just, when your mouth gets super like saliva is coming in, you're like, all right, it's about to happen. In the Burger King cup. Thankfully, it wasn't filled to the brim. It was so embarrassing. And I don't remember anything else. Like, I remember little bits. Like, I thought I sat down by a vending machine, and then that's it. And then I woke up, and was, like, crying because I don't like being that intoxicated. I think that is such an annoying thing to do. But it didn't help that I started crying and saying I was a lush. Shout out to my mama. And I was like, nobody likes a lush. Because it's true, nobody want to be around drunk. Don't want to be around that. So I'm just crying. We get to a hotel. Person I came was like, can we please just check in? There's like, yeah, they're looking at me like, yeah, you guys can check in. I remember we got in and I fell to that bed and was out, knocked out, came to. The person I was with, they were dry heaving and throwing up in the bathroom. I thought it was me. I'm like, dang, not again. I was like, wait, that's not me. So that first night in Shibuya was a night we slept. I'm not even going to hold you, but I won't drink that much ever again. I would say I did not have a headache the next day, but I was hella dehydrated. And luckily, I'm in Japan, Tokyo. Okay, they got all the cool drinks that get you hydrated. So we just hit the ground running the next day, but we definitely slept. Definitely slept. And I don't think I drank, outside of a strong zero, I did not drink any hard liquor at all. And the other cool part down there in Tokyo was we found a really cool Mexican restaurant where they make this shit by hand. Took 15,000 years, but the drinks, again, more liquor, were good, and we weren't really tripping, and they were cheap because everything there was cheap outside of certain places. And let me, next part of what threw me, talking about what's not cheap. Thrifting there. I don't know what scamming ass business someone got down over there in Tokyo, Japan, where you take a lot of items from America or the Goodwill or wherever these clothes you are finding them from and you're reselling them. Because why did I find a Tupac Walmart shirt? You know what shirt I'm talking about. I usually sells for $12, $14. $40, bro. They're charging $40 for a Walmart shirt over there. Where are they getting this stuff from? Who's got the pipeline from cool Goodwill items in America going over to Japan? Because I just don't understand why. There was one place called Chicago. Like, out of all the places to be called, you're called Chicago. And y'all running the tag up like something crazy for items that technically aren't really vintage. They are thrifting. But if it's a thrift store, why y'all charging us so much? I get it for the little jerseys that people can get. Like, that makes sense. But for regular shirts, sweaters, for stuff to be a minimum starting at $30 to $40, I don't think that makes sense. And speaking of stores, we go into a store, and obviously you can tell it's like streetwear. They have hip-hop music and stuff like that. So I'm looking, like, of course. I go in there, see what these massive culture appropriators, cosplaying asses are up to. And the Japanese woman looking at me crazy. She dressed like Jim Jones from The Diplomats. If I said that, she would have no idea who I'm talking about. So I'm just confused at what era it is and why you give me a funk-ass attitude when, babes, you had to go and research all of this to be put into the store. So they had gold chain, grills, do-rags, hats, shirts, every basic starter pack of what they would presume black people dress like, right? Based off of movies and everything. And I just thought that was so funny. And that wasn't the first person that we saw that was obviously cosplaying / culture appropriation. And then in the evening, we ran to like this little Asian Jew. He was in Shibuya and stuff. And he had like straight backs, cornrows. They as good as they're going to get with straight hair. Had his fresh white tee. He was sagging with his jeans. He was giving very much, I'm from Houston, old Johnny Dang looking ass. And it was so funny. And then we also saw another dude who you could tell he was like trying to hype himself. Like, I got to go give him the black person hand clap. I can't get out too much in my head. Like, he walked by us and then walked again and came to my person, gave him a dab like that. You know, the black man dab. You guys know. And he was so happy. He was so freaking happy afterwards. I looked at his face. You could just tell he was like, oh my God, I can't believe it just happened? So it was just very interesting cultural experience going back again. And we was drinking with the locals. Not like that, because they was getting lit. So now the girls are fighting Trump and Elon, and this is something we all knew was going to happen. But what's crazy is this is like, what, the third time that I know of where someone has admitted in this whole presidency that they cheated. Trump said it in a video saying, yeah, without those computers, without Elon. And then Elon saying it on X, aka Twitter. So it's just wild to me, because it's like, okay, let's start having the conversation. I think there was something that has happened like this. I know last year, a lot of people, not last year, when Biden got into office, a lot of people, you could sue, I don't know who you're suing, but you could sue somebody about the voting and stuff like that. And there was like 62 people that tried to sue. Nothing happened, because obviously he didn't have Elon at the time. So that's not surprising. I don't even want to say surprising, but it is like, I knew we were getting to this point when it comes to the protest, and everything that I'm seeing from both sides, I expect it. That's all I'm going to say. And we're seeing right now why local government, that's why I always stress it, is very important, because we're seeing our governors, we're seeing our council members, senators having these conversations that need to be had. And that's why we say we need to vote at a very local level, because here we are, the decisions that need to be made that affect us in our community here in Georgia, here in Atlanta. We have to have people protecting us. All TLC, pack our governor up. Pack him up. And if I see the strong, bad built, body bleach bond lady, whatever her name is, she should not be running for governor. That woman does not have the adequate education and experience to do so. We have seen the DEI hire Marjorie Taylor at her best. And that's literally me giving her a compliment. Only time you hear that. She has been unprofessional, lackluster, disgusting behavior, and doesn't even do proper research. I'm going to be honest, that's the DEI hire everyone's afraid to have a conversation about. That is it right there, and I will continue to say that. You are seeing in real time what a lot of white women think work is. That's what they think that is. That's it. That's not hard work. That woman literally was given every single thing, company, whatever boss or manager she was from her daddy. She should not be anywhere near local government. Pack it up and start selling some shit on the weekends in the neighborhood yard sale or something. That's your role. That's your responsibility. Do that. Because it's at a point in time where we need people who have the experience and education. People got student loan debt because they went to school for this shit. Put them up there. Put people who actually know. And then speaking of which, Cory Booker, I didn't forget. See, I've been gone, but there's certain things that are coming back. What that man, I'm trying to do better on my show now, because that man sat there and did that long sit-in and stuff just to turn around and shake the hands with devil. Get your cockeyed, get away, get out of here too. Every single government official damn near has a relationship with Israel. And I know, Dad, you said don't talk about it, be careful, but the truth is there. The facts are there. Why isn't, let me not clap, I'm about to have to go do a lot of editing and get that popping out, but why are there Israel flags being hung up in America? Why are we hanging those in the Capitol? Why are they allowed to give government officials in our country money? If it was a Russian back in the 70s, blown up, done, everyone's done, get out of here. What are you talking about? You want to give us money? You're a spy. You're trying to infiltrate. Like, it's weird, bro. And when you go and do the research, it's nothing but proof, because nobody was ever going to question this community that has been able to falsify a lot of the stuff that they're doing due to the fact that they come from a heritage. And it gets to a point in time where it's like, hey, if that is the case, these people who are not white, who are able to reap the benefits of their community, of the things that have happened to their community, reparations, it should be the same across the board, because there's proof on every end. But it's interesting when those groups of people who are not white are given the privilege to showcase their history and then profit off of it, and you look at where they're at and you bring it back to the Black community, hip hop has always had someone from their community managing the artist and managing the money, managing the look in a certain aspect. Look it up. And it gets weird when that type of entanglement and relationship is showing up in our government. I understand corporations here in America, born and bred, Ford, America, Eagle Noise. I get those folks trying to get their hand in our government. But a foreign country trying to build a relationship, has built a relationship with us, and are able to control our government. It's a problem because we see what's happening in Gaza. You have bought out the guns. You've got them in a contract. They can't get out of that shit, and they don't want to, because that means they lose up on the money. And it's even crazier is because all them folks that work in the government, they ain't making what we making. They making enough to where they can invest in real estate, invest in white collar crimes across the board. We're going to take race out of it because there's even Black officials here in Atlanta, Georgia, who work alongside real estate. And that's not a red flag to y'all? How things don't get done in certain communities around certain times when certain events have to happen here in Atlanta, where you want to make it look clean and pretty all for one event. Hello, Olympics. All of this comes into play, and that is why we need to make sure we are voting the people for the people in our local government. We need people from Atlanta, Georgia, who have experienced Atlanta, Georgia, before the influencers, before the famous people, before the people who came and gentrified. We need those people. And it's hard because of gentrification. It's hard because you can't be in your community where you grew up because it's changed due to the fact it was popular years ago. Now it's not, but now it is. Redlining. There's so much things. So I could go on and on about this. When it comes to community, when it comes to our government, it comes to what's going on, we are in a place where social media influences so many of these views, and I cannot express it enough of how important it is to research. As I'm saying that, I think of an AI video, and I'm just like, oh, we're back. we're done. But research what you're viewing. Please check the hands. They got 10 fingers. It may not be a real picture or a video, whatever. Like, just do your due diligence and research the information. Try to find it from a real source. I just had a flash. You know, Akira, where it's like, no. That's happening in my head because I'm going to, like, Twitter used to be a place where verified news journalists, people who were legitimate, had to be verified, and you could get the information right from the source. That's what social media was and is supposed to be. And this wasn't about this show wasn't not about social media at all and what's been happening, but I feel like I can talk about it a little bit more because this conversation needs to be had. Social media plays a big part in politics, in history, and the fact that it's moving so fast, the regulations on it that should be on it aren't there. So when talking about politics and talking about what's happening in Gaza and everything that we're seeing and consuming, we need to regulate it to a sense where it's not being surveillance and policed. Regulated as in there needs to be rules and regulations of what you post. In a sense, this can't be fake. And if it is fake, you have to disclose this. Or you could be in serious trouble because that's misleading. That's falsifying information. We know a lot of people don't like care, but we should care because it's AI and Americans are stupid. And no, come on, we gotta be smarter than that shit. And it can be dangerous. And when we have social media, and it should be utilized to be able to get information straight from the sources who have been there, the journalists who go to school for this. That's what it should be. That's how humans are supposed to evolve, and educate themselves. We just got a little bit stupider. Look, that wasn't supposed to be so long. We have a I always say we, and it's me. I have a conversation I really want to have more so about corporate America. But before we get into that, we'll talk more about politics almost every single time on my podcast. But let's get into some of the TikTok tea and everything that I want to talk about real quick. So I'm laughing because we just sat up here and talked about social media and how it should be to use to educate people. Mind you, we're about to get in some drama from TikTok that I have found interesting. So I really don't latch on to like a lot of the like TikTok dramas. Let me watch up and keep up with this person and people. Now the last group I did that was like infatuated with was the thruple of Sean and what was his Olivia and another young lady, and they would get on live and he found out he wasn't making no money for real, how they all treated like that one was like interesting for a little bit, then I kind of like fell off and didn't care. Now the next one there's this girl named Brene, and I love living in the city, and she had came around on my For You page around COVID time because her nails are so extremely long and she had really big boobs, like I mean like touching your kneecaps. You can't tell what size she is, what her shape is. Big boobs, right? She's a big girl though, and she was with her dude at the time, Devin, and she made content and mukbang, and she used to smack and eat really crazy, and she irritated me because I was like, I can't do this. So fast forward, I don't know when this happened. You can look it up on TikTok. They have it all on there. This woman ends up leaving her husband. Everybody's like, okay, that's crazy. Ends up getting with this light-skinned dude named Tim. And I'm like, all right, this is weird. The tea behind that was, there's so much lore to this. This is what I knew in the beginning. Devin and Brene would go hang out with Tim and Akira. That was his wife. And they have kids. And while they would hang out, Brene was always like kind of like recording everyone in a sense, but always catching Tim and always having him in the videos. And you see these because people found these videos and vlogs once everything started to happen. And Tim got with Brene. Come to find out, Tim been with Akira. The baby might be Tim's. Not Akira, his sister Kareem. Look, there's so much going on. So Tim probably has a baby with Brene's sister because they used to mess with that man too. Like they're all cousins, Tim and Devin. But the craziest part is this woman, Brene, will copy the ex-wife every single thing she does except for eat an apple. From the hair, from the accent. Every time this woman changes her hair, Brene got to change her hair. And it's funny because all to y'all shade, there's somewhere in the Bible that says this. Women who are evil's hair don't grow. So even if you use them sacred edge control drops and your hair is not growing, you're evil. And I hold that to some type of truth with certain people because this woman's hairline has not grown. I know she does wigs, but you should have a little bit of something. And it doesn't help that she is big and nasty. And I know that's really mean, but she is. She is just a nasty person. She literally got this man, and then the sister baby that the baby daddy wanted a DNA test, and she said no, actually might be Tim's. That's the little drama I'm hooked on. You wanna go see that? Go ahead. Some people are probably like, girl, I don't care. And I'm also going to say something that I feel like we need to have a conversation about, and I will be judged for this. I watched Baddies. I watched it, and I have a few takeaways from it. I find the auditions a little bit more entertaining. It does give wrestling vibes, but like real life. Do I think it's ignorant? Yes. Do I think it's holding back the black women community? In a sense, no. And what I mean by that is the select women that are going on there have always been around. And if you don't know about them, that's fine. Congratulations. You just ain't never been around those like black folks. That type of behavior is not new. Those types of group of women are not new. So it doesn't really just throw me off. They found their demographics, and I found out like the baddies lore is the word of the month of the summer, right? The baddies lore goes deep, and there's a lot of non-black people who like it. So then that's why I'm like, okay, that could be a little bit problematic because it's like if you're not around black people, you have already thoughts, negative stereotypes about black people. You're probably just gonna assume this is I was right. Look how they live, heathens. But Natalie Nunn, arrest that bitch. Excuse my French. Arrest her ass. The way that she is able to get on there and switch it up. Like if you don't want to get arrested, everybody on the cast who wants to should be able to whoop your ass with no security guards. That's how I feel. That's the one I have the biggest problem with. I think she's profiting off of the black women community, knowing her mama is white, knowing these are the stereotypes that she's seen. Because let's be honest, if you knew Natalie Nunn from back in the Bad Girls Club, you already knew this bitch was the most bougie, colorist, high sedity type ass girl, mixed race girl, big chin, big butt, cute, funny looking, horrible personality. And it's funny because after that run of being a bad girl, she tried to rebrand on social media and be a stay-at-home mom type content, her and her dude and everything like that. But she honestly, you know what? Maybe she just ratchet. She's just a ratchet bitch. She did not look. She could be bougie and still be ratchet, and I think that's just what it is. She's just a dirty ratchet, want to get money any type of way type woman. So I have my beef with her. I do think they should run it back and beat her ass. Like all of them should. They should all get the option. But I'm not stupid. I partake in it. I don't watch it every single day now. I don't just sit down and watch it every single day. Did I watch it in Japan? Hell yeah, I watched that shit in Japan. I was watching the girls in the auditions. Literally, this shit is like wrestling for real. But they really brawling, and then doing doing a split and shaking ass. I think that's so wild. It's such a wild concept. But that was it. Judge me. You can judge me in the comments as long as you give me a rating, a good 5-star rating in the comments of my podcast. You can judge me. If not, shut up. So the main topic of conversation, and I was going back and forth with this, but we're talking about social media. We're still talking about things on TikTok, so why not? And also I am one of these people, is the conversation that happened on social media, how a black woman was saying how she enjoyed working with a white man. And I'll just play the video so you guys can understand, because we're really going to have a conversation about this.
If you offer me a job and I find out my manager, my direct supervisor is going to be a minority, babe, keep that DEI hire and keep that job offer too. I prefer to work under white men, okay? White, middle-aged, men with a family, AARP eligible, the ones that got the AAA, the ones that eat off the IHOP 55 plus menu, you know what I mean? The Medicare eligible ones, give me that. Because as far as I'm concerned, the minorities, they like to make you pay back the dues that they had to pay in 1987 when they first got their job as the model minority. And they want to make sure that you have to do it too. Meanwhile, white man, he sees me, he goes, yep, let me give you this special project. What do you need? What's going to advance your career? How can I help you? None of the passive aggressiveness, none of the micromanaging, none of that extra shit, right? Give me Jim, Bob, Bill, give me that. Don't give me the minority, because as far as I'm concerned, anybody that looks like me or identifies as somebody who would be a DEI hire, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not with it. Y'all got a chip on y'all shoulder that I personally do not have the brain power to deal with. So as far as I'm concerned, hand me to the nearest white man. Thank you.
So that was a lot. And the reason why it was a lot was because a lot of her personal opinions came into play, because there's a real conversation about this, the relationship when it comes to male managers or male men in the workplace with black women. But people keep forgetting there's a massive difference between someone who's insecure and someone who's secure. And when you put that into corporate America, white male man, it's a massive difference on how they treat you. If you meet a white male that has worked hard, knows what they're doing, they've been him, they know how to navigate, they're very secure with themselves, they're not looking to just be an asshole all day, every day, because their biggest goal is 9 times out of 10 is getting that goal, winning that prize, whatever it may be. That's their main focus, and they want people on the team who are going to get the job done. That is the mindset that a lot of them have. And there's also another bunch of them, okay, 50-50, who, again, when you see someone who is insecure with themselves in the white community, a lot of racism, misogyny, ignorant shit is attached to them, and it exudes when they have conversations with people, when they're in the workplaces, when they're managers, and it shows up, and they can be some bitches sometimes. That's just the fact. they will see the strengths that Black women have, and because of all that ignorance that's built up inside them that shows up as insecurity, they try to ruin your life. But they're very a little bit more calculated, and it's not like some men can get obsessed. You have a mental problem, yes, but it is not the same. Which the woman's talking about is those who are a minority or from the same community as you. And me being a Black woman, I came to the realization like all skin folk and kinfolk, and having to have those conversations and seeing in real time with Black women is very eye opening, because it's like we're going through the same thing. You've been through what I've been through. You see this and feel, let me pile on, let me dogpile some more shit. And we're gonna get into an example. The very first one is like working in corporate America is Black women can sometimes get very cold very fast, and you refuse to open up, you refuse to communicate with those who are from a younger generation or not on the same level as you, and that's a turn off. And we can tell that you're wanting us to beg and grovel for your acceptance, but that's not going to happen. And I dealt with that when I first got into carrier transportation. It was a Black woman. She was boss. And now that I think about it, was it her? No, it was someone totally different. She was a boss, but she was rude. She was disgustingly rude. I would try to have conversations with her, try to have like, oh, I see a Black woman, maybe that could be a mentor. And I would get the dirtiest looks, never a follow up, never would communicate with me. And I was like, what is the point? What is the point of this? But then constantly having people, Black men, be like, that's someone you need to work with. That's a great mentor. That would be great. But how can that be great if she chooses not to want to communicate with me or have anything to do with me? So what's the point? That was the first interaction. That one wasn't really bad. The second one, that one was in a current, where I'm at now, my current workplace. And I told people when it was going on, like I felt like I was constantly talking about it, because there's no way this is happening in real time, that I'm having to experience this with another Black woman. She was a part of the diaspora, Haitian, and sometimes I'm like, maybe that can kind of change people's perspective on others, and that's just how we are as Black folks and people in the diaspora. But the very first interaction with her was, we were very positive, very opening, very welcoming, and you turn around and tell me, oh, you're sweating a lot, you need to check your thyroids. Please. I was living my best skin tea life that summer. I'm running around in the warehouse in summertime. I'm hot. What do you expect? So I'm like, all right, this is a lot, but you're a Black Caribbean woman. Okay, I'm gonna take what I'm gonna take. I know. And that was the first interaction. And then having others from our community have an interaction with her where it's negative, and then coming back, even though it's like you gave a coworker negative review about a situation where when we followed up with you, you lied and said you were fine. Oh, I have no issues. Oh, this is great. We're asking if you have any questions, let us know now. You have the opportunity to learn things that you may not know about a system that you're not new to. You turn around and go talk shit to another coworker, not knowing that we are all cool with each other. Like, there's no animosity within our community, within this job place, because we know we're all at the same point. We're trying to get to a certain level. So what's the point of being in that? But you still have people like this Black woman who came in a negative way because she feels like we have to adhere to things that she is used to. And if we don't do that, we're not on her level. I'm going to treat you how I had to go through the reins and everything. And it got to the point where she was talking about me personally, about my hair, throwing shade and lies about me, talking about personal relationships and making assumptions about them that weren't even real. And it got to the point where my manager had to sit and talk to me. And this was a point where I was struggling to make friends. And of course, you're going to make friends with your coworkers. And I'm finding that community. And some people are like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Like, babes, we see each other how many hours of the day? I get it. It's not for everyone, but I'm very selective with the friends I make inside of work too. But I'm making friends in a positive way, and it's not negative. And it was a lot for me going through what I went through with my friendships. And I was crying. I'm like, damn, I'm finally making friends. And now someone is telling me I'm not doing my job right, and I'm doing things that could look a certain way, and it was never my intention. And I'm like, I just don't know where this is coming from. My other friend got attacked too. It was just constant personal attacks until one day we're all in a meeting, right? And this lady who's just been antagonizing us almost for like 6 months straight. And there was one time, let me tell you this, that I stayed hours late. Wasn't even my duty to be doing this during this big massive event for our job where we can't really take off. We have to take turns doing later shifts. And I had everything set up. I've gotten everything done. I served the team. She's like, I gotta go pick up my daughter. I've got to pick up my daughter. That's what she said. Almost an hour, and I have no contact, no number, no nothing. I'm messaging her on Slack, no response. I had to hit up the manager. It's like, hey, I'm sorry. She's almost an hour and 30 minutes over from picking up her daughter, and I should have been gone. And I did her whole thing for her. So as soon as I messaged her, she was like, okay, if in 30 minutes she doesn't get there, let me know. I messaged the manager. Then all of a sudden, I get a message from the woman who's supposed to pick up her daughter talking about, hey, if you ever need to reach me, here's my number. You should have done that when you left for an hour, knowing you was going to be gone for more than an hour. Like, that's what you do. Have a conversation with me. You want to move sneaky. I can't help you when you're not responding. So she finally comes back. She's like, you didn't have to tell the manager I was coming back. I'm like, how was I supposed to know? You said you were going to go pick her up, not go to dance recital for the whole time and then come back. Girl, please. So that was the experience I had with her. So when she was leaving, it was the last day. It was in a meeting room. Everything seemed cool, copacetic. She messaged me, like, hey, can I talk to you? And I'm like, babes, sure, I'll talk to you. I'm one of those people, like, if we're on the same team, I really can't, like, you're going to irritate me, cool. But I'm going to do my job and do my job well. If you need me, you got it. But it is what it is. She wanted to meet in the conference room. We go sit down, and she's talking to me. She's like, well, I just want to let you know first that I'm quitting. I covered my mouth so fast to stop the smile from popping up on my face. So mind you, my hands are like clasped over my mouth, and I'm just like, okay, all right. Because I'm like, finally, you're done. You're done harassing us. It was a hostile work environment for sure. And it was hard because I didn't know if other people on my team saw that outside of the other people who weren't on my team. And I didn't want to be like, oh, you're just being mean to her because of whatever reason. So she's talking to me, and she's like, I want to let you know first because I wanted to give you some feedback. I was like, here we go. Let's go. She was like, you could be very, very mean. And I'm thinking it back in my head. I'm like, of course you're going to say that. You're going to say that because you've tried me multiple times being ignorant and rude. And when I throw the shade back, or when I get in your ass for the work that you don't do, that's what you consider mean. So be it. I'm mean, but I'm helpful. I'll drop everything and get things done for whoever needs to. I'm going to remember certain things that need to be done, personal, work related. I'm still going to be there for people who treat me with respect, and it's always going to be the same respect back. But if you're being ignorant towards me, it gets to a certain point. I'll still do my job, but I'm not going to be nice. You want to be ignorant. You want to talk about people's health. You want to talk about people's work ethic. All of that, there gets to a point. And mind you, this was a black woman. I'm getting bullied in my 30s by a black woman. What the hell? All my bullies have been black women, black men. And I'm from Denver, Colorado. Actually, that's a lie. There's some white boys in there, too. That's besides the point. It's like you chose to be, excuse my French, a bitch purely based off of what you had to go through. And when working in corporate America, I've had multiple POC managers that act the same way. And no shade to women, I hate to say it, but the projection is real when you guys get into these jobs. When you lack confidence the same way that white men, if they're insecure, we can tell because y'all some mean ass women. Y'all mean and cold. That's why you ain't got no man. I know I sound like a red pill dude, but geez, sometimes that just is the whole equation. Or you don't got no woman. You don't got no they, you ain't got no them. I don't know what you don't have, but you don't have it because you're upset and you're mad every single time you come to work. You don't have love. And it's not my fault, okay? And it just gets to a point, and that is the whole situation when it comes from my perspective, working in corporate America with POCs and or black people. I'm not going to call them DEI hires because those aren't them. And the relationship between white male men in corporate America who are secure versus those who are insecure and have obviously microaggressions and racisms attached to that. So there's a massive difference. Now, the last one, you knew I was going to come for this one. White women. Got to tread lightly, okay? Because I have a love-hate relationship when it comes to white women. raised by white women, family members, white women, best friends were white women, amazing teachers I've had were white women. So I understand how you should be as a human being when it comes to those who do not look like you, black people, people of color, from the LGBTQ community, whatever it may be. And when you're a white woman, when the world is made for you, I don't know. I expect you to be a kind person. And I can see when someone is actually genuinely good. But when working with white women, again, you got the 50-50. And within that 50-50, you got other 50-50s. Let me tell you something. I have studied the ways of the white woman to get out of shit and how to cry when need be. They do it. I hate that that is a stereotype attached to them, but everyone's got one. And that is theirs. They smooth with it too. They know when to use it. They know when to slide that in. And that's just facts. Most white women, not all, are DEI hires. So when you have to work with a DEI hire and you're not one, it can get a little bit stressful. Because all to y'all shade, and again, this is not for all white women because there's some hard-working white women out there. These are the specific ones you know I'm talking about. They do not do their job. They are there to look cute. Say a few things. We gonna act like she knows what she's saying. Like, that is them. And then there's those who are smart, who have gotten where they need to get to, and you have the insecurities come out. You have them with the microaggressions, acting clueless to certain situations, belittling you, and white women real nasty with it. They real sharp with it. And they will let the world be known, I'm going to figure out a way to make sure that you do not achieve anything. And sometimes they're in the whole world and they don't even think about anybody else but themselves until someone says something. That's just it. That's it. And that brings us to the conversation of why so many white women were able to be slave owners. You know, daddy died, but babe, a large percentage of white women were slave owners. This whole, they're weak, they don't understand things, they're not that smart. Like, a lot of white men know that white women are smart as hell. And a lot of them are scared of them. Most snapped women are white. Just saying. I don't understand this. Oh, they're a delicate flower. Oh, they're so sweet that we got to protect them. Protect everybody else from them. They are public enemy number one. And no one can change my mind about that. And they know the power that they hold because, you know what? Brings us back to the bubble of working with white women who are secure with themselves, who are great people, who are amazing human beings. They gonna do everything in their power to make sure you get what you need. They're going to put their foot on everybody's neck. And some people have never experienced that. And you guys are probably like, girl, why are you glazing so hard for white women? You know, come on, no, never. But this is a fact. I have to be real about shit that I've seen and experienced. There are white women who will take every last dollar of daddy's money to make sure everybody else around them is good. There are genuinely good people in every single community, but the power white women hold to make and get shit done, that's why we be like, girls, are y'all dumb? Are you stupid? Why you keep voting for bullshit? You know you run that house. You know you run the world. You know the world was made for your white self. I was going to say cuss word. And it's just a fact. So when they have that power and they utilize that power and they fight for things and for other people, and we're seeing it now in real time, let's give the credit where credit's due. I know some people are like, oh, that's the bare minimum. Some of the bare minimum white people aren't even doing. So kudos to those who want to stand in the forefront and do the work because you guys need to be there first and foremost. Especially, again, white women have that power. A lot of them will fight tooth and nail to make sure others around them are good. But that's my view behind it when it comes to corporate America, working with people of color, working with your own color, working with white men. It is a 50-50 different experience for every single person. And you're going to get good, you're going to get bad. If you take something from these conversations that you deal with and these people and remember all of this, you're going to grow and you're going to perfect your craft and you're not going to fall for the same BS if it happens again with certain managers or whatever it may be. That lady taught me, shut up. You got it. Yep. And just know everything and have conversations with managers. When I told my manager, she was like, I'm not surprised. I'm like, y'all knew she was crazy. I thought it was just me. Like, I was shook. I was like, I just have to say something. This whole time has been horrific. They're like, really? Why'd you say anything? I was like, I literally don't know what I was thinking, but I thought like I would be like a snitch or be weird or something like that. Meanwhile, she's been terrorizing everybody else. I am truly grateful. I think this is a great episode. Real lifing and doing a podcast as an adult, a grown ass woman. I'm 32 now. I just started my 32s. Anyways, it is a lot to navigate. It is something that I'm going to have to learn and perfect. And like, you know, hell, nobody talk about your 30s and trying to like rebalance everything of what your new norm is. I don't know, but I'm enjoying it. I appreciate the support. I think I'm going to do this every single time we end the show, but I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. I will not be missing any more episodes. I know I've been gone, but your girl's back with it. Thank you, and I will see you guys next week.